countdown. Good afternoon and welcome to Branching Out 2021. This Brent Connections transition event has run over 3 days. You're joining on the 3rd of December. And today the transition event is going to be looking at employability and lifelong learning. This event is from anyone with an EHCP starting at, well, from comments yesterday, starting from 0, but up to the 24 years of age. The 3-day event will be recorded and added to our YouTube channel, so please subscribe for notifications of anything that's coming on new. Each day I have begun with a slightly different introduction depending on what we were having. My name, some of you may know me, my name is Jane Porteous, and I'm one of the SEND team for Brent Connections. Behind the scenes we have Dean Hatfield and Tina Rodden working their magic and keeping everything going. The first day of our 3-day event was education, when we had colleges talking and they were speaking about everything to do with your young person with an EHCP and college life. This was mainstream courses up to A-level or BTEC, looking onto university. It was mainstream plus the SEN support. It was then general SEN and also courses for those with more profound difficulties. But today we're looking at employability and lifelong learning. I invited 4 different organisations for each of the different days, and they are here. They'll be talking for roughly 20-25 minutes, including questions and answers. So please, if you're happy to type in your questions into the chat box, and I can then read them out to our presenters, and we'll try and get some answers there for you. In previous years, Brent Connections held are branching out in Brent Civic, face-to-face, always well attended and feedback always possible. Instead of being able to do that, we've tried to condense 20 stalls and their breakout rooms into something virtual. So you can sit at home, have a cup of tea, watch it when you want, what's not to like from that. But it has meant that we split it over 3 days. With the best will in the world, I couldn't see many people listening to 6 hours. So hoping that you can join in the ones that are most important, most relevant to you and your situation. As you may be aware, Brent Connections was previously based in the Roundwood Youth Centre until March 2020, when COVID struck and we moved our delivery from face-to-face to virtual. In the interim period between getting back to face-to-face, which we did as soon as we were able, following government guidelines, our main office moved into the College of North West London. But I'd like to emphasise that even if we are based in the local further education college, our advice and guidance will always remain impartial. With Brent Connections, we'll meet with our clients, parents, carers and relevant professionals in the main office, as I say, in College North West London, or in the different hubs, libraries or wellbeing centres that are dotted throughout the borough. We do offer a drop-in service, but honestly, you'd be better to make an appointment. We want to give you the time that each individual requires and deserves, and if you have a drop-in, we can have queues. It's just not as helpful. Today, if you're not able to join us, then you'll be able to catch up. This is going out on our YouTube channel, and we're also you can also find us on our social media. So that's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. If you're a bit like me and you might rather just phone someone, you can always get us on 020 8438 1650. Let's move on to what we are absolutely doing today. So here we have providers that can help and support with a huge variety of different advice and guidance. We'll start with Brent Start. From there, we're moving on to Job Centre Plus, and then moving to Mencap, and then Shaw Trust's Supported Internship. If you're a parent or carer, you might be wondering about a timeline and when to start looking at alternatives from school, from sixth form. And I would say to any of you that are listening from here today, while today might not be so relevant to those perhaps 16 to 19-year-olds, perhaps this is more for the older of our age group. The fact that you are listening in means that timeline has begun. It's really never too early, and we want to get that information to you so that you are ready to just see all the options that are out there. Throughout our 2 days previously, and I cannot see that today would be any different at all, a lot of departments have been talking about the local offer. The Brent local offer is here under that little tag there. Quite easy to follow, obviously. I would recommend Googling the Brent local offer, and it will all come up there as well. But there's also the Brent Youth Zone website, and that has a lot of information preparing for adulthood. Because let's be honest, this is what this transition event is all about, ensuring that you have as much information as possible at your fingertips, so that when the time comes, you know the information, you know who to contact. There will be times when the information might just seem far too involved, too much to take in. That's absolutely fine. We're hoping that even if today you just take away our social media contacts, we can then signpost you on to all the right departments. From Brent Connexions, as I've said, we will meet with our clients. Sometimes we'll meet them in school if we happen to be in school, and we work in a number of schools throughout the borough. And once your young person has left school or left college, then they would come under our umbrella as a Brent resident, and we will meet with them and help and support up until that age of 24. Sometimes it has felt that I've had others say before, you know, what's available, what is it, where is it? It's just too confusing. So absolutely, today is these 3 days, I should say, are there to help and support. As I say, if you don't take it all in, just remember that you can contact us and we can help move you on to the right departments that would be able to help and support. The local offer is available for each of the boroughs. The Brent local offer, they are updating, they're adding to continuously. So if you looked at it a few months ago, please don't feel that's it, I've got that information. Always check up to see what's new, what's happening. It is all there. And with our speakers today, I'm hoping that we'd be able to give you that extra reassurance as to what is on offer. The speakers that we have, we're starting, as I say, with Pansy, with Brent Start. She'll be talking about her offer and looking there about perhaps shorter courses, and she will explain in depth about how we go about making applications for that. Job Centre Plus will be speaking to us, and not just about benefits, but about everything else and how they can help and support. And then we'll go on to Mencap, and they'll be talking about their supported internships, how they're there to help, how they're there to support. Each of our speakers offer much more than you might even expect by the name. And then we'll be finishing off with Shaw Trust and their supported internships. So please feel free to send in any questions to any of us. You can wait until they start to chat. If there's anything you'd like to ask prior to then, that's absolutely perfect too. Let me stop presenting here, and I'll ask Pansy if she is ready to be able to join us and tell us more in depth about her role and what Brent Start can offer our young people of Brent. Thank you, Pansy. Are you okay there to take over?
I am. Can you hear me?
Absolutely perfectly.
Okay.
Thank
and
you.
Dean, are you going to present the slides, or should I try?
I think Dean's taken over there. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You let us know when you're ready to.
Okay. Okay. So
I think we're just trying to get it up as a. It's taking its time, Pansy. Sorry.
Okay. No problem.
When the internet is working wonderfully, it's all great. When it takes a while, it does seem a little bit like, let's get on with this. I think we're trying to share as a slideshow. I'm going to sneeze, excuse me. I did have my mic off, so that should have been okay. Right, we're still trying, Pansy. We're still trying to get you in.
Okay.
Oh, this is ridiculous. Come on, internet. It's Friday afternoon. You can do this. I think the Wi-Fi is having a lunchtime and not doing what we want it to do. Would you like to tell us a little bit about who you are while we try and get this loaded, Pansy? Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So I am Pansy Campbell. I'm the program leader for our ALD provision and also for the digital skills provision at Brent Start. So we are an adult and community education provider for Brent residents. And I just wanted to say thank you very much for the invitation to be part of these 3 days. And particularly for being part of today's employability and lifelong learning event.
You're more than welcome, Pansy.
Okay.
We were looking at presenters that would be happy to join us. I think we need to sort of maybe mention you're all volunteers. I know it's part of your job, but all this takes up so much longer than you're expecting it to do, doesn't it? So someone will say, oh, I'll just do a quick presentation. It doesn't work that way. It all takes ages. So thank you to everyone for doing
Pansy,
that.
Pansy, could you share your presentation? Because I think we're
okay.
We've got it linked to the internet, and it's just too slow.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Let me try then. Try and do that. So.
This is just proving to everyone this is absolutely live. We're getting there, Pansy. Your screen looks like it's doing something. Absolutely, well done, you. Thank you.
Okay. So.
Are you able to do slideshow? Are we?
Okay, let me just have a go here.
I'm happy to keep talking, Pansy, while you work all that magic behind the scenes.
Right. Okay. So tell me if you can see.
There we are. Absolutely perfect. Thank you. Thank you. And
Right,
although we'd have been happy to share, as Pansy and I were saying earlier, if you're sharing the screen yourself, you haven't got that silly next slide, please. And it certainly flows much more nicely. Okay, Pansy, over to you. If we have any questions,
okay.
I'll save them till the end and we can chat about them.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So, as I say, Brent Start, and we are at different locations in Brent. So let's have a look and see. Okay, so our main learning centre is in our Stonebridge Centre at Moorland Gardens. Some of you may be aware that our current site is going to be redeveloped, which means that we will be moving into temporary accommodation just down the road at Stonebridge Annex in Twybridge Way. We are about to start packing up for our move in a couple of weeks for a January start in our new temporary home. So we are also at Harlesden Library Plus, and Willesden Green Library, though I will add that all our ALD provision takes place in Stonebridge Centre and will continue in our new Stonebridge home in the annex. Okay, so we target our courses to all our residents, whether unemployed and needing to improve job chances, or employed in low-paid jobs and want to improve their opportunities. Residents could be in a low-skilled job and need to build on basic literacy, numeracy skills and digital skills. And we also target families through our family learning provision. So we target residents who have low to moderate learning difficulties and want to improve job opportunities. Okay. So along with my program leader colleagues, we are responsible for different curriculum areas, and we plan a range of courses delivered by our experienced and dedicated tutors. On the screen, you can see some of the courses that we offer. Courses could be once or twice a week and last for a term or two, or for the whole academic year. They could also be a one-off series of workshops, so a variety of courses depending on needs and depending on what needs to be get across and how long they take. The majority of courses are face-to-face, morning, could be afternoon, evening, or on a Saturday, and some of the courses are online, or could be a combination of online and face-to-face delivery. We have courses that are accredited and also courses that are non-accredited. So again, we have some variety there. As well as the courses on site, we also work in partnerships with colleagues within the council and external partners, enabling us to run courses in community venues. Could be children's centres, libraries, for example. And these courses might be similar to those that are on site, but also could be tailored to what partners say will work best for them. So just moving now to our provision and our offer for our adults with learning disabilities and or difficulties. You can see there again the range of courses that we have on offer. We have, you can see there, a range of courses that we hope will build on confidence and practical skills and knowledge. So, you know, what it means to work as part of a team. We look at health and safety in general, and also health and safety in the workplace. On the Digital Skills Together course that you can see there, a student attends with a carer or family member, hence the title including the word together. Building confidence and self-esteem, the title speaks for itself, I think. That includes a variety of role play to help the students develop their confidence, etc. Also included there, you've got healthy eating and cooking, where we look at different food groups and design, for example, a healthy breakfast, a lunch or dinner. And there's also handling kitchen utensils and equipment safely. We have a gardening option as well. Again, safety is paramount. We look at what can be grown in containers inside the home and outside. We've also had visits to local allotment at appropriate times during the seasons. We have an independent living space, which is a one-bedroom flat where independent life skills are supported. So, looking after yourself and home, or preparing everyday drinks. So we have that currently at our Stonebridge Centre, and we have an even better one actually at the Annex. We've been to visit last week and this week. We're taking students along so that they can see where the new place is and what it looks like inside as well. So our ALD courses are free if individuals fall into the categories that are shown up on the screen. So you'll see there that it includes job seekers allowance, ESA or universal credit. If residents are unemployed and in receipt of a state benefit, who self-declare that they're seeking work. Employed for less than 16 hours and in receipt of any state benefit, again, who also declare that they are seeking work. And there's also the disability living allowance. So all these categories would mean that individuals wouldn't have to pay for the course. We do also have a limited hardship fund for students who are in financial hardship. And if the household income is below the current threshold of £21,157 and on a means tested benefit, this would also mean that the course would be free to them. So just to repeat that, a household income of below 21,157 and on a means tested benefit would also mean that the course would be free to anyone who wanted to join from that group. Okay. So in order to join one of our courses, we do have our initial assessment and enrolment process. A resident who wants to do an ALD course would need to complete an initial assessment, which assesses their starting point, and also there's a disclosure form which goes alongside that. In the disclosure form, we ask for information regarding any learning disability or difficulties. We ask that be shared with us in confidence, of course. The disclosure questions are important to us and are an essential part of our ALD assessment process, and would be completed by a relative, support worker, social worker, for example, who we also ask to attend the assessment together with the resident who'd want to do our course. There would also be an enrolment form that would need to be completed, and we would need proof of address, proof of benefits, as I say, which would determine whether there would be a cost or whether you would be able to get the course for free. Okay, so For any further information and details, we have an email address, which is brent.start@brent.gov.uk, and we also have our main Brent Start number, which is on the screen there, 0208 937 3950. We also have a website where you can find out some more. And on the screen there, you can see my name and also my contact number should you want any further information. We have initial assessment slots available, and so what you would need to do is to call the number on the screen there, 3950, and book an initial assessment slot. And as I say, it would be the prospective student and the carer or parent who would attend. So we would expect both of you to book in for that initial assessment. Okay, I think that's what I'm going to leave it there. I don't know if there are any questions, Jane.
Absolutely, I got some questions come in. Thank you for that, Pansy. Okay, a first question that's come in is, could you explain a discrete curriculum?
So we have our ALD provision as opposed to our mainstream, if you like, courses. So discrete being our provision designed around our ALD learner needs.
Okay, thank you. And someone's saying, I can't read this one, sorry. Can we only come to you if we are living in Brent?
No, I don't believe that's the case. I think we do have some learners across Brent Start who are outside the borough.
I have something here from, see, this is how it's meant to work. So I am having some other questions come in here from another of our presenters today, who's saying, can a job centre advisor who has a claimant who wants to do an ESOL course, could they be referred from Job Centre Plus, and how would they go about it?
Okay, they can be referred. We would, question comes into my head, are you referring to an ESOL for an ALD, or would that be for ESOL mainstream? So that's a question that just pops into my head.
Okay.
But as I've said, we do have our switchboard number there. So any initial questions, my colleagues, I'm sure, will be able to help with. But if it is somebody who wants to do an initial assessment for our ALD course, they can be referred, an assessment can be booked, and we, as I say, would expect the carer or parent to come along with
them.
Yeah. So
okay.
Yes, referrals can be made that way.
Yeah, I'm told it is ALD. So
okay, yeah, yes. So yes, certainly.
And perhaps I can share both your details at the end.
Certainly.
This is what it's all about. Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
very welcome.
Proof it's working from every side.
Okay.
Someone's saying that their young person is 16, but they're also looking for a grandparent as well. So have you got an age range? So and what is that age range?
We do. Our minimum age is 19. It's 19 plus.
19, yeah.
I'm not going to give the other end. It's 19 plus is all I'm going to say there.
That sounds perfect. Okay, they haven't given me an age for the other, so we'll just
good. We'll leave it there.
We'll just say get in touch with Pansy, and we can take it from there.
Absolutely.
Could I try more than one course, and what happens if I don't like the course I've chosen? Can I change?
Right. Okay. So we our courses, most of our courses are arranged on a termly basis. So, for example, our next courses start in January at our new site. And so if you feel that you want to just try it, it can just be for a term. Or alternatively, you could book for 2 terms if you started in January and you wanted to go through till July.
Okay, and is there a chance of changing sort of mid-term? Is that a possibility, or?
It is a possibility, but I mean, I would suggest that you know, a term would be a good opportunity to try it out and then change at the end of the term. But it is a possibility, yeah.
I think sometimes we forget how short a term can be. Can't it? You have to start and settle in, and all that can take a little bit of time before you actually get into the real course itself. You were talking earlier about the courses being accredited. Could you explain that, please, Pansy?
Certainly, yes. So within ALD at the moment, we have one accredited course, which is the Skills for Life and Work that was on the screen there. And that is a course that the students would need to are preparing a portfolio for, and there is an external certification from the awarding organisation. So as opposed to the other courses that we run, which are non-accredited, so it is not an external organisation that awards a certificate at the end. There is an internal certification that we do, which is, if you like, an attendance certificate, which shows, you know, the progress that, which I suppose recognises the progress that the students have made, but it's not an external certification.
Okay, that sounds quite clear. And do you know of any of your clients who have gone through you and then on to sort of more full-time, if we like, sort of FE courses? Have you managed to be a sort of stepping stone onto others?
I mean, that is something that we are definitely working on. We have in the past had, if you like, success stories where students have moved on to either in employment or to further education, but that's something that we're certainly working towards, developing more links so that we can create more opportunities.
Absolutely. I mean, what we're someone was saying yesterday that if they were to do their job well, then they would have no clients coming in, and that's sort of in a way what we're all aiming for, isn't it?
Sure.
To move everyone on to. We don't want to push them too hard, do we? But we also want them to sort of push against that comfort zone that can just be that little bit too easy to stay in. And you know, we want to try them to just push that little bit further and just see what they can do, don't we? So yeah, we're there to support them, but let's give things a little bit of a try and move on if we can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I haven't got any other questions in it at the moment, Pansy. Is there anything else that you would just like to reiterate, perhaps, and finish on?
I would just say that if there are any more questions, please do feel to contact me. But you know, the learners that we have with us, I would say, enjoy being there, are happy to be there, and they often surprise themselves with what progress that they've made and what they've been able to achieve.
Well, isn't that just lovely that they sometimes are their own worst enemies, aren't they? They sort of put their own boundaries and, oh no, I couldn't do that and I can't try that. And you're there to help and support them to maybe not knock down that boundary, but gently sort of lower it, shall we say, lower that wall that they have put up there themselves, because we just want them to try as well as we can. And I think if school hasn't been a positive experience for you. It is quite tricky, I believe, making that step back into even short, little sort of snippets, if you like, and I don't mean that in a derogatory manner, but shall we say smaller samples of education, and that can just be what someone might need, isn't it, to increase the confidence, to realise that yes, they can do that, and let's move on and just see what we can do. And the courses that you were talking about, they're all life skills as well, really, aren't they? So anything we can help and support with that is always good, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm a firm believer in lifelong learning, I have to say. I think that's very important, and I think that as many skills, you know, that we can get under our belts these days, and just, you know, serves us for the future and sets us in good stead, really. So yeah, very much a proponent of that.
Oh, and something's just come in to say, if the course I was on is both virtual and face-to-face, is there a split from that course? So is it sort of 50-50? Yeah. Okay. Does it depend on the individual course?
Yeah, so I would say that when I was talking about face-to-face and online, I was talking more generally about the Brent Start offer. At the moment, the ALD courses are all face-to-face. There may be online, you know, in the near future, but at the moment they're all face-to-face. Certainly through lockdown and so on, we did have some online and so on, but at the moment we're all face-to-face.
Face-to-face. Okay, thank you so much for that, Pansy. That was really well explained, and just it's just another information strand for someone to investigate, isn't it, for their younger people or older family members. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Now you're welcome to stay and listen. So good afternoon now to Job Centre Plus. Are we okay to join and share?
Hi there. Can you hear me?
We can indeed, yes.
Wonderful. Let me just share this presentation.
So this is Ellie. She's going to be speaking. There seemed to be a little bit of a team Thursday from Job Centre Plus. So if you have any Job Centre Plus questions, I think some of you might be a little bit surprised when they talk about everything that they can offer. And as we say, that's what today's about, is learning more. Absolutely. How are you doing there, Ellie? Oh, I think things
can you see it? Can you see the presentation tonight? Okay.
Not yet.
Let's try again.
Okay. It's quite reassuring when IT doesn't work perfectly for me, that I'm finding that everyone else is in the same boat. I think we do tend to think everyone else makes it look so easy, and it's not always the case, is it?
It wouldn't be a Friday afternoon without a few technical slip-ups, would it?
Maybe we should change the time. Maybe we should start on Tuesday to Thursday and not do it this way.
Okay. I'm hoping you can see it now.
Absolutely, it's there and it's full screen.
Wonderful.
So we'll leave you all to tell us more. Thank you.
Fantastic, thank you. So firstly, I just want to say thank you so much for having us today. It's just really fantastic for the DEA team to be involved in this. Skipping ahead a slide, to be involved in this today. So thank you so much, you know, everyone who's organised this fantastic event and for inviting us along. We really appreciate it. So my name is Ellie. I am a disability employment advisor at the Wembley Job Centre, and today I'm joined with the wonderful Davika and Cassandra, who are also part of the Wembley Job Centre team. In our team, we also have Zeph. He isn't with us today, but he's part of our team as well. And then we've got Ginny, and I've got sort of our names up there, so hopefully you can see that. Okay, so today we really wanted to just kind of give you a bit of an introduction to the support that you could expect from Job Centre Plus, and we wanted to help you understand what support is available in regards to finding work after leaving college. And we also wanted to advise and signpost to further training and employment opportunities, and to provide a bit of information on who you can contact if you have a query or maybe a question about any of the information that we're going to be talking about today. So as I previously mentioned, we are the Disability Employment Advisor team at Wembley Job Centre. So we are DEAs. So what is a DEA? We support work coaches to help customers who have a disability or a health condition that may impact on their ability to work. And we do this by promoting awareness of disability confident employers and the Disability Confidence Scheme, talking about access to work and any other schemes to job centre staff and to local employers. We also offer direct support. This is actually quite a new scheme that we're doing. So we are now offering direct support to universal credit customers. This is on a one-to-one basis over a specified period. In these sessions, we'll be looking at reasonable adjustments, access to work again, and any other specialist assistance available. We also work closely with local organisations and groups to ensure that the right support is being provided to customers with a disability or a health condition. Okay, so I'm just going to hand over to Devika for this next part. Devika, are you there?
I have my mic on, on mute. That was handy, wasn't it? Sorry, Devika, are you okay to be able to join us?
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Absolutely,
Thank
thank you.
Telling mute, I was talking away to myself. Okay.
Thank you for persevering. Thank you for being here.
Okay, that's okay. Right, so I'm going to talk about the two programs that are actually that we have contracted out by the Job Centre Plus. And there are two different types of program, but done by the same organisation, which is Sure Trust. And the one that I'm going to talk about is intensive personalised employment support and a work and health program. So what is intensive personalised employment support? Well, it's a voluntary program for anybody living in England and Wales who has a disability or a health condition or some complex barriers to get into work. And it offers a holistic approach, focusing more than just getting a job. It looks at areas affecting clients, including their ability to work, their family, their financial or personal circumstances. So what they do is they identify their barriers and then provide intensive support with the aim of moving them closer to employment. So on this program, there will be people who are not quite ready to start work straight away. And so they get this one-to-one support beforehand and up to a year. The program actually focuses on building confidence and managing disability and health concerns and improving their overall well-being and mental health. So, and then introducing slowly to employment opportunities to get into some sort of sustainable progression towards work. So this program is actually delivered by Sure Trust, and it's called IPES for short. So this program supports clients into employment through support tailored to an individual's need. And again, like I said, it's to overcome barriers and achieving employment. So they will get one-to-one advisor assigned to them according to their needs. So if it's mental health, they would have a key worker who specialises in mental health. you know, if it's physical health, then it will be a key worker assigned with physical health and things like that. So they are a specialist in what they do. What makes IPES different is that it's delivered by multidisciplinary team offering enhanced employer support through these key workers. So it's a minimum of 16 hours of work experience, and regular case conferencing to identify need alongside celebrating celebrating progress. And so that is what IPES is. And this program, usually if it's somebody that needs to be referred, is done through a job centre work coach and the disability employment advisors. One of us would actually discuss what is the best for this person, and it would be delivered by us actually agreeing to it to be in the best move forward. So that's IPES. The other program that the Job Centre also has contracted out to Shore Trust is called Work and Health Programme. This program is designed to help people with significant barriers to find, gain and sustain employment. But it's all about people who's kind of ready to work and would be ready with some support to get into employment. So it could be anybody with a disability, health condition, or some sort of complex barriers to work. This program is different from other employment programs is because it recognises that everybody is different. It recognises that everyone has their own set of challenges, their own individual reasons for being out of work, and it understands that everyone's path to finding a job will be different. So the program will help individuals find a job that's right for them. It will help them manage their health and well-being, build their emotional strength and resilience, and make them feel good again. So they support with, you know, that affects, you know, with working alongside friends, family and personal responsibility. They have lifestyle, housing and money, finding and preparing for work, physical health and mental health and mood management, skills and experience and volunteering. So they work alongside these kind of needs. So they have on this program, which is run through Shore Trust, they will have a dedicated a work coach on one-to-one basis, and they can support either by face-to-face, phone or video. They also have access to live vacancies and several employers and engagement teams, so that they know how to match the person to the right job. They also have free access to various sessions, including yoga, mindfulness, meditation, nutrition, and healthy eating, how to manage anxiety and depression, overcoming challenges, confidence building, steps into employment, IT and job support. So this again would be a referral done through the Job Centre, but for this program, person can refer themselves if they feel this is the right program for their support that they need. Work and Health Program do work alongside other organisations such as Health to Employment, Shelter, RNIB, Genius Within and Enterprise Exchange. So that is Work and Health Program and IPES, the two different being that IPES is for somebody who's not quite ready to start work, but needs support to move towards work and would probably be able to start work within the next 12 months. And Shore Trust Work and Health Program is somebody who's ready to start work, but need a lot of support now and in order to get that employment. So the other one is for 12 months IPES, and Shore Trust Work and Health Program is up to 14 months, and it will be ongoing when the person is in employment as well. And over to you, Ellie.
Wonderful, thank you, Devika. I'm just going to pass over to Cassandra for this next section here, if she's able to join us.
Hi, Cassandra. Are you able to join us?
No, she's on mute. Sorry.
There should be a button you can press, shouldn't there? And it flashes mute, and then everyone would know. That would make it so much easier.
Thank you. So I'm Cassandra. I'm going to be discussing the Kickstart Scheme. So what is the Kickstart Scheme? So it's a government initiative that provides paid placements for young people who are at risk of long-term unemployment. And how it works is that the government fund the cost of 25 hours per week at national minimum wage. And this is a full 6-month duration of the claimant's work. And it will be a 25 hours per week minimum that they'd be working. So in the Kickstart Scheme, we offer many different sectors. This includes hospitality, construction, administration, finance, and retail, to name a few. And we've also, in the Kickstart Scheme, there's also a few notable employers such as Marks and Spencer's, Tesco, the Network Rail, the Royal Mint, and KFC. During the programme, employers can help with employability skills during the scheme and after. So during this time, they may offer further training, help them to look for permanent work and further opportunities. They also offer CV and interview preparation so that whilst the customers on the placement, that they build up those key skills that they can use to find long-term work afterwards. So to be eligible for the Kickstart Scheme, you must be 18 to 24 years old. You must not be in any education, training or employment, which includes an apprenticeship, and you must be claiming universal credit. If you are already participating in a contract provision through the job centre, like the ones we had just discussed, then you will not be eligible for the Kickstart Scheme. And to be referred for this Kickstart Scheme, it will be done through the work coach, so in the job centre. So your work coach would contact you with a list of different available job opportunities, and if you were to be interested in them, then they would process the referral for you. So yeah, that's the Kickstart Scheme, and it is a really, really good programme and beneficial for many who have found work and experience to use for long-term employment afterwards as well. So I think I'm just going to hand it back to Ellie.
Thanks, Cassandra. Perfect. Okay, so we just wanted to touch on this as well. So this is a bit of information for those who are not claiming universal credit. So anyone with a health condition or a disability who are looking for employment but do not want to or are unable to claim benefits you can reach out to us. So you can contact the DEA team at your local Job Centre Plus office. So for those living in Brent, that's us. So myself, Cassandra, Zeph or Davika, and all our contact details are up there for you. We're happy to discuss, we can set up a call and we can discuss any opportunities that are available in the area with you, and we can signpost you to the appropriate provider or programme. So yeah, no, do reach out to us if you have any questions. And we just wanted to also mention a few useful websites before we sort of finish here. So Citizens Advice, I'm sure many of you will be aware of Citizens Advice, but they're really fantastic and great at signposting, giving kind of general advice. If you have any problems with filling out certain forms, maybe PIP forms or anything like that, they can also support with that. We've also got Disability Rights UK publications, Access to Work, which we touched on briefly earlier. Definitely have a look at that, and you can see how the government can kind of support you with finding work and, creating reasonable adjustments. There's also the National Apprenticeship Service up there for you. And finally, National Careers Service. They're absolutely brilliant. They have a service where they can help you put together a CV. And that's free. So, do hop onto their website or give them a call if that's something that you feel like you might need a bit of support with. And I think that is the end of our presentation. So just wanted to say thank you again so much for having us. We would love to take any questions if there are any. So thank you so much for listening to us.
Well, thank you for everyone that managed to make that a seamless presentation. That wasn't easy to do with today's Wi-Fi this afternoon, so thank you. I've got a couple of questions come in. The first one is a comment, actually, that says, thank you for saying everyone is different. So well done. I think that would be the theme of today, really, wouldn't it? That everyone's different. Nothing really is bespoke, even if we are looking at courses that are a little bit more rigid, perhaps, than other sort of one-to-one provision. Usually, certainly with my experience, anyone working with all these young people and a little bit older, we just try and sort of maybe perhaps sort of rub off the rough edges to make it as smooth as possible for all of them. So thank you to everyone for that today. For the IPES, they're saying, is there a waiting list to join this? So would that be Davika who would answer that, Ellie, or are you
yes.
are you answering everyone?
No, I can answer
that one.
Yes. The intensive personalised support, there is no waiting list because we have contract given to us. So, but there is a process to actually be referred to this because it's not self-referral. So you need to be assigned to a work coach in the job centre, and then the work coach would discuss the person with us and we decide whether that is the best support, because we have several other different types of programs. So once we've identified that IPES is the best support, then we kind of do a three-way interview with the key worker, and then we sort of do a warm handover with some referral forms filled in, and eventually the person is referred to this program. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a rough time? I won't hold you to this. Do you have a rough sort of timeline of from someone first chats with you and you think, oh, maybe this would be the best route forward? How long it could take before they actually started with them?
Because they don't really have a waiting list, I think it could be started as soon as it's been decided that this is the best program, but it depends on how long the person's been on benefit, and we've looked at all the other options, but there is it shouldn't take too long. It would be within weeks than months rather than months.
That's good, isn't it?
Yes.
Sometimes you get the impetus to start something, and then if you have to wait, it's sort of really and I think the confidence can ebb away a little bit, can't it? And it's that doesn't help. With the work in healthcare, someone's saying, you mentioned about the support within employment. Does that come under the 14-month sort of umbrella, or? Okay,
it's work and health program will support up to 14 weeks, but they could review and support further several months if it means that the program is going to get this person into work and need that in-work support. So it all depends on how much support they need. I think the maximum is up to 16 to 24 months of support. So maybe if they get into work within the 12 months, then they will probably get the in-work support after for another 4 months or longer if it's required, because it's all about getting sustainable employment.
That's what we want for everyone, isn't it? To get them out there, to push them perhaps against their comfort zones, but to make it bespoke and be a positive outcome for each of them, isn't it?
That's right, yes.
Someone else is saying, what is, this is a tricky one to answer, really. What is reasonable adjustments? Well, it could depend on the starting point, couldn't it?
That really can vary. Exactly, that kind of depends, and there's no kind of one size fits all, but an example of some reasonable adjustments could be potentially if you needed certain tech or software to do a role. So if you've got a job, you've got through that stage and you've secured a job, and you just need a certain type of tech or software to maybe enlarge your screen, or the wording on your screen, or something like that, or a particular desk that supports you properly. That could be classed as a reasonable adjustment, potentially looking at travel into work, things like that. But yeah, no sort of one size fits all, but there's a couple of examples.
Lovely. I think you must be a mind reader, Ellie, because the final question that's come up for you is, I'm worried now that I've got a job to start, I'm worried about travel. Is there any way you could help? So you've answered the question before it was put to you, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I must have it must have been in my mind.
Yeah, I can add on to that, Ellie, if you want.
So perfect.
So it just the type of it all depends. So if for somebody who needs travel to and from places, then and they're able to travel, they're quite mobile physically, then they could have a buddy, just because they might not be able to actually get there by themselves, because they may have some sort of condition that won't allow them to follow instructions really well. So then they could have a buddy who would actually take them to and from workplaces. Or it could be a travel where they have physical demands, so that then they would get some sort of a taxi to and from places. So it all depends on the type of work they're able to do. If they feel that once they've traveled into work, they need support in work because they need some sort of a mentor or somebody to be there with them, then even that support is available through Access to Work. It's a government funded program for anybody who can work and want to work. There is loads of different types of assessments and adjustments that can be made to give them that. Is that something?
Lovely. That answers that. Cassandra, there weren't any Kickstart questions yet, but I will send them on if we get any more. So okay. Thank you all for that. That was really helpful. I think it's showing that Job Centre Plus does more than, well, it's the plus of the Job Centre, isn't it? But it does more than you might expect. Okay, I'm hoping now that we have our speakers from Mencap. Are we able to smoothly move on to share those screens, hopefully? That was very quick, Megan. That's looking good. Well done. You straight in there. Are you okay to share your screen with us?
Yeah, sure. I can definitely do it. Give me 1 second.
Can't guarantee how awake the Wi-Fi will be at this time on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah, my laptop has been, it knows it's the end of the week. It's been going slow all day.
I'm not sure if we get within striking distance of the end of terms, etc., if that makes a difference as well.
Should be able to share this now. Just give me 1 quick second.
Absolutely. Just take your time. This is just proving that we do all this absolutely live. Maybe we shouldn't. Maybe that's too much pressure on everybody. But I'm not sure if this is better than face-to-face. I think sometimes. Okay, I think we're getting there.
We are. If you could also just unmute Saba as well, because she will be starting the presentation first.
Right, Saba, thank you. I think that's taken care of. That's far too big of me. Please move that one on. That's better. Thank you.
Saba, can you unmute? If not, I'm more than happy.
Sorry guys, there was just some clients in the back, so just waiting for them to pass through. Really sorry about that.
I'm just saying this is just proving that we're live. And
definitely.
I'm not sure.
You literally can't predict what's going to happen in the office.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay. Welcome. Please.
Thank you.
Please tell us more.
I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Seba. I'm a program coordinator working for Mencap. I cover the area of London across all boroughs and manage employment programs and support a team of caseworkers and job coaches. And what we do is we work together across different projects across London to deliver and support people with learning disabilities into employment or a positive pathway. Sorry, next slide. Thank you. So Employ Me is Mencap's programme to support people with learning disability to gain employment and positive pathways. We have a person-centred approach to each individual, encouraging development in all aspects of their lives through practical support. We try our best to provide support in other aspects of life in terms of housing, employment, education and leisure, which means that everything we do is about valuing and supporting people that we work with and their families and their carers. But today I'm going to mainly speak about employment. Next slide, please. Again. So we provide support to develop and allow our clients and learners to develop new skills to progress into paid work. We offer skills and training alongside employment workshops and find work experience or placements that are suitable for the learner or the client, depending on their needs or support needs. What we do in the initial stages is assess those needs depending on the skill set, along with their journeys and their backgrounds and what they've come from in terms of education. So there are many routes and options available alongside Employ Me, which are the 3 ships, which Megan will briefly speak about later on in the presentation. Sorry, next slide, Megan, please. Next slide. So how does Employ Me work? So the programme is designed through various stages. So the initial stage is the referral process, where the referral is given through either a self-referral or through our Mencap helpline or just through contact information that's been shared across providers. And the process begins in the referral stage, where a caseworker assesses the needs of the individual and creates an individual support plan and outlines and identifies any additional training needs. And in this meeting, we discuss the programme, the expectations from both sides, and also the ability for them to understand what the employees may need and what they would need to work towards in order to develop the skills that they require for that specific job role. So, for example, if they didn't have the skills that they needed, we'd put them into either volunteering or a work placement to develop those skills, or getting them onto a course, a short-term course or a long-term course, in order for them to eventually lead on to paid employment. There are some situations where Employ Me may not be the best programme for the learner. So what we would do in that case is the caseworker would look for local providers that are able to look and provide additional support, or at least meet the needs of that particular learner. And we'd also contact the local authority as well, just so that we can signpost to relevant organisations. Sorry, next slide, please. And after the initial meeting, we then assign them onto the programme, and through that time it's more of a get to know session. We would try to understand who they are, and we have almost a mini assessment where we look at different aspects of their life and how they live their life at home, what it means to be outside of work, in education, how they socialise, because it all has impact on employment. And we believe that when you look at all these aspects, and if they are at the same time we're working together to build their confidence, it helps us to develop and progress them onto their journeys into employment or any positive pathway. Next slide, please. Now, what I have here are 3 pictures that demonstrates the journey to work, the employee action plan that we create, and lastly, any agreed activities that we decide with the individual themselves in terms of a training plan or activities that we agree with them that they are suited to their needs. So the journey to work, which is the first picture on the left, provides a framework for caseworkers to support the learner, which begins with the initial referral meeting, followed by an assessment to understand support needs, and to create an action plan followed by agreeing activities. This is then progressed down the line to paid employment. This then follows on to the assessment and action plan, which is more of a having to develop more of an understanding about the learner and what they expect from us and the support that we provide. We look at their current skills and experience and plan the next steps ahead. Together we agree on setting achievable targets, which then is developed into the employee action plan, and that is agreed between the caseworker and the learner themselves. And this may include like training, work trials, or support to go straight into, or even going straight into work. We also look at what support is needed through job coaching, work placements, or even if it's volunteering. A lot of the clients that we have on our programs, there's a need to develop the softer skills, so to build their confidence and self-esteem, and it's essential that we work on that alongside trying to gain employment for them. If they don't have the confidence, then they're not able to take the ownership of their lives, and this is what we try to represent at Mencap, is by empowering them to make their own decisions. And then this goes on to the agreed activities. We all agree on parts of the Employ Me programme, which will give each person the best chance of getting a job, such as the work trials or training, and this allows the learner themselves to decide what programme they'd like to go on. Next slide, please, Megan. And these are the current employment programmes that are running in London at the moment. So City Bridge and Bright Futures and GLA all cover Barnet and towards Brent as well, so we're open to taking referrals. It's only City Bridge that I think there's quite a waiting list on, but Bright Futures and Employ Me, London, GLA are open to taking on new learners with an educational healthcare plan. If you have any questions or any information would like any information about Employ Me, then please ask away at the end. But I'm going to hand it over to Megan now. We'll speak a bit more about supported internships.
Thank you. So we have our supported internships, which is part of the 3 ships at Mencap, and that includes the internships, the traineeships, and the apprenticeships. Proven that this is live. My laptop is just about to die, just on time. So just give me 2 seconds. I'm going to run and get my my charger, and I'll be back.
I'll just keep speaking, Megan. Don't you worry. Saba, are you okay to take a question now?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. So someone's just said to me, why are some of your courses there 16+ and some are 18+?
It basically depends on the contract that we have from the local authority or funders. And that's just the age ranges that are set by them, unfortunately.
Okay.
Thankfully that we do have Bright Futures that is 18+, which is great because it caters to younger adults and older adults as well. So it gives us the ability to work with all sorts of types of age ranges, which is essential, especially during the times that we're in at the moment. Yeah. But as for City Bridge and GLA, there's quite strict age requirements in there, and there isn't any leeway about that. So if there are any referrals outside of that bracket, then please just refer them to Bright Futures.
Thank you. And again, you see, we've got other of our presenters asking questions of each other. So this is from Devika. Could someone with dyslexia and 40 years old benefit from Employ Me?
Absolutely. It would entirely depend on their need and what they would like to receive support on. Next door, we also have the other side of Bright Futures, which focuses on benefits and also leisure and social activities. So we can also cross-refer to both sides and work together in order to support them. So if you'd like to pass on any information later on yourselves, then I'm more than happy to look into that for you.
Okay, I could get you two together for that as well. I mean, a long time ago, well, a strapline was working together for a better future. That was a London initiative, and I think we stopped using straplines like that in a way because we're doing it as well, which is just perfect. And these are sort of comments that they're coming in live and getting answers, and we'll put you all together. Okay, Megan, are we okay?
All good now, all good. Just on cue, of course. But I will be talking about the Supported Internships programs that we run at Mencap. It's part of the 3 ships, the Supported Internships, the Traineeships and the Apprenticeships. So I am the tutor in the Barnet area, and we cover residents from Barnet, Enfield, Haringey, Brent, sort of Barnet and all of the surrounding boroughs. And so you don't have to be a Barnet resident, but we are based in Finchley at the moment. And that's where our sessions run out of. And then we also have work placements that are sort of in the surrounding areas as well. So what is a supported internship? It is a study programme, and it runs an academic year, so it's September to July. It's an alternative to a college course. So for those that may be kind of wanting to finish with education, it's something different. It's a lot more practical, and it's focused on supported employment. So we have, although we do have sessions like maths and English and employability in the classroom, we do also offer work placements as well. So that would be you know, things like what they want to do. So it could be admin, it could be retail, it could be hospitality, anything like that really. And they would have a caseworker that would support them in that job and helping them to become independent in that workplace. So referrals. So we have the initial referral to the programme. So you would meet with myself or my programme coordinator, Jade. And we would talk about sort of what that young person wants to do. They have to really be wanting to go into work to join the programme, because that is the main outcome at the end. And then we would do things like I would come and visit them in college or in school or, you know, wherever they are, and really sort of have a chat with them about what they want, what their aspirations are. I will speak to their teachers and have a look at their support needs and how best that we could support them if they were to come onto our programme. So there's lots of different steps to the referral and then the process, and then sort of from March we will sort of accept those places for the September coming. So at the moment we are, sorry, it's on a timer so it keeps jumping. We are taking the initial referrals at the moment, and then from January I start to do the college visits. So I will also send out, or to Jane if easier, to send out our expression of interests. And if you send those to me, and I can get back to everybody for anybody that is looking to join the programme. So a supported internship, there are only 2 eligibility criteria, and that is that you have to be aged 16 to 24 and you have to have an education healthcare plan. So they are only 2, and I think personality wise and you know what you want to do, you have to be wanting to find paid work. You have to want to complete a 6-month work experience placement, because to complete the programme you have to do 300 hours of work in placement. And you have to want to develop maths and English and employability skills that would help you find a job in the classroom. As well as the 300 hours in work, you also have to complete 280 hours in the classroom. So it's quite intense. there's overall around 600 hours to complete, but we will build upon the existing skills already. So we do travel training, we do in-work support. So it's building on those skills that you already have, and it's, you know, making that turn into paid work with the employer that you're training with. So the average week of a supported intern, we do ask for 4 days availability. So normally we have 2 days in the classroom, and that will be with me. So I'm responsible for the education side of the programme. And then we also have sort of 2 to 3 days in work placement, and that will be with your caseworker, and they will support you in getting into work and getting you independent in a workplace. We do a mixture of classroom activities and work experience, and you will build on those skills in one-to-one meetings as well with your caseworker. So caseworkers are there for you, and they will go out and they will liaise with different employers in the local area and try and find that work experience that best suited to that person. We can also have meetings with impartial careers advisors. We do have ones at Mencap as well that we refer you to. So it's really important to sort of get that experience from other people and get that knowledge and that information from others as well. So what Mencap Supported Internship can do for you. So we will help you to understand what having a job means. We will teach you the skills needed to have a job, including travel training. So whether you have travelled before at all, or whether you have no experience in travel training, we do have quite an intense 6-week travel training programme that we do. And that'll be 6 weeks to a destination, so to your workplace. And we will be learning how to use different routes, you know, stranger danger, things like that, learning how to cross the road, learning how to use the tube and the bus, learning how to, you know, what to do in an emergency. We also have people from TFL come in and give us talks around travelling and how to have safe travel. We will find the right work experience placement for you. We provide a job coach to work alongside you during your work experience placement. We support you to achieve maths and English qualifications if needed. So not everybody will do maths and English qualifications. It's completely up to the intern if they would like to, but we do register everybody for exams. And if they wanted to do one to, you know, to get that higher level of maths or English, that's something that they could do with us as well. And we will help you to secure an outcome at the end of the programme. So we do work towards mainly paid jobs, but this could also be a paid apprenticeship if they felt like they needed a little bit extra training. It could be paid internships. It could be other things like that. So we do go for that paid outcome, and that's what we feel is really important, and that's what we work towards for our learners. So if you have any other questions, or if you'd like to see any information, if you go to our website, there is actually a video on there as well, and you'll see my face. And it is a video where it just explains a little bit more about the programme and also gives you an insight of other people's experiences of the programme as well. And then sibarney@mencap.org.uk is what you can email my team on, and we can get back to you with any questions or any queries as well. Thank you.
Lovely. I had a question that came in. Oh dear. Could I ask others to turn off their mics, please? Thank you. You don't want to hear me twice. I can promise everyone that. Okay, a question came in quite early actually, Megan, and then you answered it, and that was I have a young person who's not yet travel trained. Would this mean that they couldn't join you? And obviously you said that you'd be working towards that with some of them.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't mean that they can't join, but we do have an expectation of that person will eventually become an independent traveller, and our 6-week programme sort of helps with that. So we would review it weekly with the learner. We have targets to sort of help them progress in travel training, but we do have the expectation that you know, we're travel training to get someone to be independent.
Okay. Someone else is saying my young person, so we don't know if it's son or daughter here, my young person really wants to work, but really doesn't want education. They've had enough of school. Does that mean they cannot join you?
It doesn't mean they can't join us. No, absolutely not. We do really encourage the classroom activities, just because what we learn in the classroom goes quite hand in hand, quite well with what we do in the workplace. But there are other ways that you could get your off the job hours, and that could be with one-to-ones with myself. It could be with your caseworker. So it doesn't necessarily have to be within a classroom setting. And there is no expectation that that person would do maths or English either. That is up to that person if they would like to do that. But again, no expectation.
Okay, so can I just check with that one? Having been a school advisor in the past, some of them would say they don't want to do the maths and English, but in reality gave it a try, and some surprised themselves with the outcomes. So would you give them that choice, and they say yes or no? You would just go with that, would you? That sounds very, very good of you.
Yeah, definitely. So what we do is we register everybody at the beginning of the year for maths and English, whether they want to do it or not. We register them just so if they did change their mind, they had the choice to change. So it's not too late. And then we would work with that person. We don't work as a college, so we don't have separate maths and English lessons. Everything we do maths and English wise is embedded within the employability skills. So it's not, oh, you know, we're now going to do an hour of maths. It's not that at all. We sort of work in it. So it could be things like looking at bus timetables and working out that, or going to the shop and paying with money and getting the right change back. It could be going to the shop and looking at the prices and working out how much a weekly shop would cost. So we're embedding maths that way, rather than having, you know, that specific time. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. The other questions that we asked have been asked, you have answered. So that was yes, you could live in Brent and apply to Mencap. And you talked about the supporting into the different outcomes as well, because someone had said, was it just work? And you explained about the different outcomes there as well. Thank you so much for that one as well. This has just been an afternoon of IT, but well, that's just IT. But thank you again for all that information. That was very informative. Thank you.
Okay, thank you both. I'm just hoping now that we have Andrew. Is Andrew able to join with us and share his screen?
Hi Jane, yeah, I'm here if you can hear me, and I am sharing my screen, so hopefully you're able to see it.
Absolutely. Good afternoon. Over to you, Andrew.
And you can see the screen okay, yeah?
Absolutely, yes, thank you.
Good afternoon everybody, my name's Andrew Wilkinson. I am the Assistant Director for South and West London for the Shaw Trust, specifically working in the Children's Directorate, where we work in Brent, Harrow and Bexley, supporting young people who are NEET, and also the delivery of our supported internships. And we are currently offering 5 supported internships across London, and 4 of them in fact are in West London, and I'll come on to that in a minute. So thank you for inviting me onto the Branching Out event this afternoon. As the other speakers, excited to be here, and it's a great event, and well done to Jane and the rest of the team. So as Megan mentioned, actually, from Mencap, who are also providing supported internships are really aimed at people who have coming towards the end of their educational experience. It is a learning programme, as Megan said, but it's about people who really are starting on their journey to look for paid employment. And I'm just putting that statistic up there. It depends on what government research or report you look at, but as few as 5% of people with a learning disability are actually in paid employment of over 16 hours a week, which is a horribly low statistic, and one that is used or was used for when supported internships started about 5 or 6 years ago. So there are many more supported internships now. They've been piloted, and now a number of different organisations are providing them. And the aim, with the stated aim of moving people with an EHCP between the ages of 16 to 24 who are ready to move into work, to help them to move into paid employment. This is an opportunity to transform lives. Any supported internship that gives a young person the opportunity to move into paid employment is a fantastic opportunity for that young person. Obviously, at Shore Trust, we like to feel that our supported internships are of great value and quality to young people, but I think, as we all know, there are a range of support internships across West London, across London, that are run by lots of different organisations, giving young people fantastic opportunity in life. And the person you can see in the photograph on this slide is Billy Joe. As you can see, she's got Downs, but she is started on our supported internship in Harrow. This September, she's already been offered a paid job by Nando's in Harrow Centre, the centre of Harrow. She's doing fantastically well there on her placement, really impressed the managers, and it just shows that if young people, whatever their backgrounds and whatever their abilities, are given the opportunity to get in front of employers in terms of work trials, work experience, or just get the chance to show their true skills, then they will flourish. A typical supported internship which we offer at Shore Trust is combines the classroom qualification. As we've already heard today, it is a learning programme with 3 work placements. So Shore Trust offer 3 work placements across the year. We feel this gives a range and variety to the young person. It sets some challenges to get to know managers and staff in 3 different locations, and equips them with experiences and skills that will stand them in good stead for moving into paid employment. So in this slide, you've got Ryan there, the young boy learning maintenance skills at the Copthorne Hotel. That's our Kensington supported internship. So some information about what our supported internships include, and they're all slightly different, as we heard earlier. And it's no one size fits all, but the way that we offer supported internship is as follows. We do an hour of classroom based activity per day, normally between 9 and 10. As we've already heard, that's because it is a learning programme. We do a Pearson's Employability Award as well as functional skills, and that is at the level and for the benefit of the young person. So every intern's learning is bespoke to them. We can do entry level 3, level 1 or level 2 employability qualification, depending on the needs and the level of the young person. We like to think that the support package around the young person is unique. We will give travel training prior to the start of the supported internship. As we've already heard, it will be beneficial for the young person to learn to travel on their own. We don't expect this before the start of the supported internship. As I say, we can help with that. And that is because when we're looking for work a bit later on in the supported internship, towards the end of the year, we obviously want to take advantage of every job opportunity or work trial or job interview there might be. And it could mean that the intern or the successful intern needs to be able to travel between upwards of an hour, possibly half an hour from where they live to their place of work, which is obviously true for all of us. The intern day on the supported internship is 9 till 3:30. The first hour, as we said, is in the classroom, and then at 10 o'clock, the interns would go out on placement for 5 hours, including their lunch, and then at 3 o'clock come back for a debrief session at the end of the day with the tutor and job coach, just to check how things have gone and how they've got on through the day. As I said before, it'd be 3 work placements over the year, 1 each term, and it's a 5-day-a-week term time only programme. One of the other things that we offer, once people move into paid work, we will work with the family and young person to make an access to work application. Access to work, some of you will have had contact with, is a DWP provision, which will allow the intern, if they need it, for us to employ a mentor, an in-work mentor, to continue to support them once they leave the supported internship and move into paid employment, to support them to settle into their new paid employment. As we know, settling into a new job can often be the most challenging part of moving into employment. It's the same for all of us. So the in-work mentor will be there at the start of that process to help the young person. They're not an intern anymore, they've left the supported internship, to settle into their paid work. And we've received funding from Access to Work for up to a year supporting a young person where they needed it. But in most cases, it will be between 3 and 6 months. And of course, according to the needs of the young person. If they settle in quicker, then obviously we won't need to support them anymore. So in this slide, we can see Connor. Connor is now working at Nando's in Uxbridge. He was on our programme last year, doing really well. Never had work experience or worked before, and his commitment and determination was there for all to see. And he wasn't on placement long in Nando's before they offered him the opportunity to apply for one of their jobs, and he was successful. He's been working there 6 months now. So as we said before, the actual learning programme is a Pearson's employability qualification, which we can teach from entry level 3 up to level 2, depending on what the intern has achieved beforehand, as well as functional skills where they're needed or required by the intern. Once again, as has been said before, that is optional for the young person, and then depending on whether they feel they need more support with numeracy or literacy, we can enrol them onto a course and they can get a higher level qualification. We also have the option, because Ixion, who are an apprenticeship and traineeship provider as part of the Shore Trust, are our education provider, we can also offer additional units in, for example, health and safety at work, food hygiene and so on, depending on the vocational area that the young person wants to work in. These are additional qualifications that will obviously make the young person more employable and give them greater confidence to seek and find work in certain sectors. We like to think of all our supported internships are really in the centre of the environment in which the interns are doing their placement. So, for example, in Uxbridge, we actually have a classroom in the shopping centre, the Pavilions Shopping Centre. So the interns finish their classroom hour and just literally walk downstairs out into Savers, WH Smith, the Entertainer, wherever their placements are. Similarly, in Harrow, Kensington and Havering, we have classrooms that are very close to the shopping centres, the retail and catering establishments in which the interns do their placements. Of course, it's really important to celebrate the achievements of the interns, whether it's gaining the qualification, being successful in getting job interviews, or of course ultimately moving into paid employment. So we do have a celebration event, lockdown or measures, COVID measures allowing, of course, at the end of each year to celebrate the achievement of the interns. A little bit more about the job coaching employer placement. We do have experienced and trained job coaches who will support all of the interns while they're on placement. Sometimes it's a delicate balance, as we've said when we mentioned about Billy Joe, Connor and Ryan. All of those young people were extremely determined and committed to impressing their work placements and doing as much as they could to find paid work. So in some senses, they didn't need a lot of support. We were there if they needed it. We negotiated with the employers about the sorts of duties they did at the start of their placement, and as they grew in confidence, they increased their responsibilities or duties, even to the extent that some of them worked on the till. So our approach is very much making sure that we increase the challenge and the responsibility that the intern has when they're on work placement, in line with their confidence and ability to cope. So at the start of any placement or the start of the year, we are very careful to make sure that the interns feel comfortable, they settle in, they gain confidence just by doing simple tasks, getting to know the different members of staff on their work placement. But as they grow in confidence, obviously we'll give them greater challenge while we negotiate with the employer to ensure that's done in a supportive way. And that will be something that the job coach and the tutor will go out and work with the intern and the staff in the work placement every single day. At the end of the day, as we mentioned, there's half an hour reflection. This is a really useful time. So while the job coach and tutor have been out with interns all day, spending time with them at different points during the day, leaving them on their own at other points, we are only a phone call away. We're literally a couple of minutes away from each of the interns. It is always good, though, to get some feedback from the interns about their day. They're often extremely tired at the end of the day, having done 5 or 6 hours on their feet. But it's also good to get some feedback about how things went. Sometimes things go wrong. Sometimes they're a bit reluctant to talk about things when they're on their work placement. So this is a good opportunity to hear about how things went and then obviously support them to rectify anything or any misunderstandings that might occur. We also have trained the job coaches to work as job developers, but this year we've also employed a job broker as well. So the role of this job developer or job broker will be at the right time during the year, probably around about springtime, to start to source job opportunities, work trials, job applications for the interns. While in many cases the employer where they do their placement might offer or might have a job or offer them a job opportunity, that doesn't always happen. And often it's no reflection on the intern, it's just a reflection of the economic situation of that employer. Most interns do extremely well on their placements. However, we do recognise that not every intern is necessarily going to be offered a job by their host employer. So we work really hard to source other types of work trials or work experience opportunities for employers who aren't offering placements, but just recruiting in general in the local area. So particularly during the summer term, we will spend quite a lot of time going out with interns, knocking on doors, handing out CVs, negotiating for work trials, looking to see what employers are recruiting and approaching them direct and asking them to give work trials to our interns, and other activities that will help to put interns in front of recruiting employers. We find this is an excellent way to get interns in front of employers and give them opportunities, as well as actually overcoming the issue that while we spend a lot of time with interns practicing their interview technique, interviews are not always something that interns necessarily excel at. Some do, but some find it a real struggle. But if they're given the opportunity to do a work trial, then that's when they really come into their own. Most of the interns work extremely hard, are very committed, follow instructions extremely well, and get the job done. So if they have the opportunity of a work trial, they stand far better chance of getting a job. And obviously that's the expression there at the bottom. At the moment, across our Harrow, Uxbridge and Kensington sites, we got over 60%, almost 70% of interns moved into employment after last year, which is fantastic. A tribute to them and their determination. Anthony there, who's in the photo there, was at our Kensington site and he got a job in a hotel closer to where he lives and is now enjoying his work, paid work placement there. These are some of the employers across the sites that I've already mentioned who we work with. So there's a range of different types of vocational areas, as you can see, mostly retail. We do offer mainly a retail supported internship, but we've obviously got catering establishments there, Mubu and Nando's, Costa Coffee, but we also have Eden Nursery, which is obviously a different type of placement, the opportunity to go for people interested in childcare. So we do have a range of different employers. These are some of our employers. Some of our interns. So on the right there, Navaljit. Navaljit has a serious hearing impairment, in fact lip reads, and as you can see there from the photograph, he's actually at the till at Harrison Hall and he was offered a job within a term of him working there. And when he came to us, the college said he would need a signer with him at all times. Well, as you can see, he doesn't have a signer there, and Harrison Hall gave him the responsibility of serving customers on the till, which he did extremely well. He moved on from that. His ambition was always to be a driver. He took his driving test while he was with us, and is now a driver for Amazon, a delivery driver for Amazon. So Navajit has moved on in terms of what he's achieved. I'm now on to play you a video. You will have to bear with me for 1 second while I set this up, and hopefully you'll get to hear it. So give me 1 second. Jane, you'll have to tell me if you can hear it okay.
Will do, Andrew. I would chat more, but oh, good. Echo's gone. Okay. I think we're getting there.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Absolutely.
Hopefully you can you see that?
Can see that. We can't. It's just your initials at the moment, Andrew.
Give me a second.
That's okay. I've got a couple of questions here, but it's not fair to put them to you while you're doing that. So let's see how we go, and then we could get on to the questions. It's interesting, our speakers are talking about supported internships, and these are all also offered in colleges, but everything, every different provider seems to do it differently, and it's good to have that selection. Okay, Andrew, I think we're ready to go.
Lovely.
I like that I get an opportunity to go into the workplace and just give everything a try, you know, and like meet new people and give different jobs a try, because every job is different. So it gives me an opportunity to experience everything.
I like the way you have to go into different jobs, different retail places, and you kind of see how it is to work in kind of a retail place and how it works, and you meet new people.
Well, I've learned to keep calm in the most stressful situations, because I have slight anxiety and it builds up and builds up, but with my tutor's help, they have helped me build up more confidence to help me get through those tough times.
How to communicate effectively with people, and how to work in a team as well, like to solve various puzzles.
Good timekeeping. I've learned about how to be a good team player.
My confidence before I started was absolutely shattered. I just had no confidence, but now I have pretty much all the confidence in the world.
I was feeling like nervous, but I feel like more confident now, speaking to people.
Like they came in, see how I was, make sure if I was okay. Like if I needed anything, they were always like there for me.
I sometimes get mood swings, like sometimes I get angry or sometimes I get down and depressed, and they've really helped me get through those hardships and push through them. And I've had an experience where one day I was feeling really down, and they helped me see everything in another light, and I got through the day. I'm still continuing, and at this moment in time I am doing job searching to hopefully get a paid job, and I have applied to five different placements so far. I would say go for it. At first it was tough, but push through and you'll get the benefits of hopefully getting a paid job and also just getting the experience.
Get more experience, so it helps you on your CV, so it helps you progress on your CV, so it looks good for you.
I would say to them that to come here and give it a go, because it's really worth it. Yeah.
Oh, very good. So is give it a go their strapline, is it, Andrew?
I think so, don't you?
That's the way it should be.
That's for sure. Well, we didn't brief them on that, but it seems to be, doesn't it?
Well, even better if that's just what they're saying and that's from them. That says it all, isn't it? Okay. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Almost there, Jane. Don't worry. Just to reassure everybody, really, that you know, as I'm sure is the same everywhere now, we have obviously got measures in place if there's a further lapse into COVID, and as we just heard in the last week, we're being asked to wear masks and take extra measures. So we don't anticipate going into lockdown. Hopefully we don't, but because obviously we've learned lessons over the last year or so, so we are able to deliver remotely if we need to. We do have classroom risk assessments. We are asking people to wear masks as from this week when they're walking around in the classroom, and obviously we follow any advice on the work placement according to what the employer's risk assessments and measures are. So we are taking the precautions as said by the government, and we are able to deliver remotely if that becomes the case in the new year, but obviously hopefully not. Just a couple of things. We are on social media. I won't delay too much, but we are putting out stories on our social media platform. It's called Sure Trust Youth. So please find us on LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook, and we put a lot of our stories out there, and you heard the stories of Logan and Connor, Sushma on the video, and they're all featured on our social media pages. Just to reiterate what we said before, in West London we do run 3 supported internships. Actually, we run at 2 sites in Harrow. We run at a garden centre at Cannons Park, some of you will know, in Harrow, as well as the retail supported internship, the resale supported internship in Uxbridge, and the hotel and catering and retail supported internship in Kensington. These are our contact details, my 2 managers, Elizabeth and Sima, as well as our email address. So obviously if you have any more questions, please get in touch. We still have places for this year, but we are taking applications for next year. And just a new bit of news, we were successful in being given the contract to deliver the Transport for London supported internship. So if people are interested in a supported internship with the Transport for London, we will be taking applications for September. We will have some literature for that in the new year. And that, of course, is open to anyone across London. But specifically, if you're interested, then please let us know. And that's the end of the presentation, Jane.
Thank you, Andrew. I do have some questions that have come in. So it's saying, someone's saying here, you've spoken about one of your young people and they were offered a job early on. Did that mean that they left the supported internship? That was your Nando's young man, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, it could mean that, but by and large, what's happened is that interns have stayed with us. And as I said, and as Megan was saying, there is a learning program that people would do. And we are quite keen to be as flexible as possible. So in a lot of cases, interns aren't necessarily offered a 36-hour week job. They might be offered 6, 10, 16 hours. And as we know from the example of catering and Nando's, they will probably be started on a lower hours contract, as I think most employees are in those type of jobs, and then will increase. Now that suits the supported internship model because we want to be around to support those young people. So if they're doing, for example, 6 to 10 hours a week, sometimes that's might be at the weekend or might be on one day of the week, we will fit the supported internship around that offer, that job offer, to make sure they can continue with us and complete their qualification, complete maybe another work placement if that's relevant, or just do some more sessions at where they're getting paid employment. So in other words, just to bespoke it for that young person, to allow them to finish with us and gradually move up. So what sometimes happens, Jane, is they might be offered a few hours a week, round about Christmas time or the new year, then that slowly increases by the time you get to the summer, which of course is perfect because they're coming to the end of their supported internship by then. So then they've learned to cope with the longer days, and they're in a good position to move into a contract with 20, 25, 30 plus hours a week, depending on what's good for them and what they're offered by the employer.
So it's a gentle move. That sounds good. Someone else is saying you talked about support until they settle into their job. What happens if they have a little blip? So what happens if they've settled and then something goes wrong, and they could do with that support?
Well, where you said that the phrase of the interns was just go for it, our phrase as support internship staff tends to be, we're not going anywhere. So we mentioned about Harrow and Uxbridge, and you know, many of the people you saw on the video have moved into paid employment now, but they know where we are. So if hopefully none of them will have a blip, but if they do and they're no longer getting that in-work support that I mentioned, then they only need to get back in touch with us. I mean, we had colleagues today from the job centre. They obviously administer access to work. Access to work is there for people who need additional support in the workplace. So while we will apply for that with the young person at the start of their paid employment, if that support ends because they don't need it anymore, but then they have a little blip, as you say, we can work with them and access to work to try and get another mentor in to support them if they needed that. But we're not going that type of support until they really feel settled. And you know, we want people to be independent. They want to be independent, but of course we don't need to rush at that. And sometimes people just need half an hour or an hour a day for varying reasons. Sometimes they need a bit of help with their paperwork. And all of that is allowed through access to work, and that's what it's there for. So we will modify the support according to the needs of the young person.
Lovely. Okay, thank you very much for your time, Andrew. Thank you to all our speakers. Let me just share my last, I promise, just a last couple of slides, and then that brings to the end our third and final day of branching out. I think the time's gone in quite quickly. I hope others of you do, and I'm really hoping that you found it useful. Okay, so this is where I was before our speaker started. So talking about all the support that's there, the Brent offer, the Brent Youth Zone, always have a look at that. Just make sure that you keep up to date with that, because it does change, it is updated, and that's telling you what is on offer in Brent. From all our speakers today, I'm going to be introducing some of them to each other, because they had questions for each other, and that was just perfect. And that wasn't even pre-recorded or it was hoped for, but to actually happen live was just perfect. As far as Brent Connexions are concerned, I've said before that we are there throughout the borough. We're in the different hubs, wellbeing centres, libraries, and in our main office, and this is what we can offer. We help with employment, education, apprenticeships, training, supported internships, everything you've discussed with us today. We can help and support, either signpost you in or do a little bit more at work before we would do that. We're there to help and support from 16 and up to the young people with our EHCP, up to the age of 24. And finally, these are our contact details, so you can get us via our Twitter, via our Instagram, via our Facebook, or just give us a call or send us an email. But a huge thank you to all of our speakers today, and the first and the second. So just a quick recap of who we had. On Wednesday, the 1st of December, for education, we had the College of North West London, Harrow, we talked through their presentation. We had Barnet and Southgate College, and we had Oaklands College. They were really looking at the education side of things. Then we had the transition process, social care and support for our second day. And there we had the 0 to 25 disabled children and young people service and general service. We had Brent Community Learning, Disability Health Service and Social Care. Then we had SENDIAS and SENAS. We had the Inclusion Project, and we went through their presentation as they were unable to join us. And then today we've had Brent Start, we had Job Centre Plus, we had Mencap, and then we finished with Shaw Trust Supported Internship. I hope you've all found it useful, but please, any questions, as I say, contact us by all these methods or give us a call, 020 8438 1650. Thank you for your time. Goodbye.
Thanks, Jane.
Thank you everybody. Thank you.